Welcome to the Bhurakshak channel. Pollution has become a major issue in today's life. Name it and it is there. Sound pollution, air pollution, water pollution, and now the latest is electronic pollution, where radiation has become an issue. To talk about pollution, particularly about sound and air pollution, we have with us Dr. Sudhir Dhounde, an ENT surgeon, very well known in the Hyderabad circuit. Doctor, welcome to you.
Namaskar.
Talking about sound pollution, doctor, we had these recent festivals in Hyderabad. We had the Ganesh Chaturthi, then we had the Dasara festival, and we spent a few nights without any sleep. What are the health effects of sound pollution, and who are the most people affected?
See, sound pollution can have a short-term effect or long-term effect. The short-term effect is temporary and usually reversible. Long-term, they will have impact on the hearing and other things for a longer time, which may be reversible or irreversible.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So the short-term effects are continuous sound coming into your ears can give you fatigue, loss of sleep, headaches, and then of course discomfort in the ear also. And then it disturbs your normal work. You cannot work or do anything when the sound is there. Long term, of course, you can get BP, headache and all those things. And finally, you can hearing loss also will be there. So that's the short and the long term effect.
Aha. Actually, when you're talking of the short-term effects, doctor, I realized that during that Ganesh Chaturthi period, I more or less had these symptoms.
Right.
Loss of sleep and irritability and I mean what you described is exactly my condition during the last 6-7 days of that Ganesh festival.
Right.
Doctor, what are the main sources of sound pollution?
Right. It can be mainly in the house or external.
External.
In the house, you have got so many equipments, electrical equipments, like a pump, water pump running,
Yes.
or a mixie,
Yes.
or a grinder, whatever you say, or the vacuum cleaners.
Aha.
Okay, and then if you have a garden in your house, garden tools, they can also produce sound. And then, of course, TV and other things are there, which can cause noise pollution, which can affect your hearing and all those things. Now coming to external, you have got traffic, horns, and then sirens, and then you have got of late you can see bikes.
Yes,
Especially at
blaring sound.
blaring sound, especially at night, they do racing and all those things. So a lot of sound is created there. So that also disturbs your normal life. And then of course any construction or anything going on next to your house.
Oh, yes.
So those drilling and bore wells and all those things, that sounds will be there. And then you have got industries. If your house is very close to some industry or something, that continuous sound will disturb your normal life. So these are the sources normally which we are exposed to. Of course, unusual sources are if you are near a volcano or anything, those sounds also will be there. Or if you are near an airport, those
Yeah.
flights, jet airways and
Railway
all those
station
things.
and airport.
Yeah, those sounds also will disturb you. So they can also affect your routine life.
What level of sound is safe for human beings, particularly children and adults?
Yeah.
And And how would you compare it to normal sounds so that we can understand what it means?
Right. Normally, up to 85 decibel level, sound for 8 hours is okay. Beyond that, it starts damaging the ear. Or if it is 90 dB, just 4 to 5 hours exposure is enough to damage the thing. If it is more than 90, just 2 hours exposure is enough to damage the ear. So it depends on the level of sound, the volume of sound, and the duration.
Doctor, what would be the 80 or 90 decibel value in terms of normal sounds in day-to-day life?
See, crackers,
Yes.
machines, drills, all those produce very high sound. So the person who operates...
To what extent? What would be the decibel count in that?
It's
Approximately.
approximately 80 to 90.
Yes.
More than 90 you can say. And other machines also. Even mixie, it produces high sound, but we use it for a short time.
Very short duration.
Yeah. But drills and other things, the person who is using it is more exposed to that. The others may not have that much effect. And if it is especially in a closed room, the effect will be more, because the echo will be there. And then you said about the other things. See, if you have an industry, the normal sound level there is about 75 to 70 dB level. Or if it is some commercial area, it will be about 65 to 55 level sound will be there. And residential, domestic, it is about 45 to 55 dB level. And in a silent area, silent zone, like near a hospital or something like that, the sound level is up to 40 to 50 only.
Then, Doctor, what would be the, say for instance, these marriage processions and these festival processions? Where would you rate these as in the decibel values?
Right. In this one, you have got two things. One is the band and all those things.
Yes.
Okay. Their sound is little different. Even if it is high sound, the whistle sound and those sounds, they can affect the ears. Or if they use loudspeakers, it depends on the volume. And especially if your house is next to a function hall, then you had it. So the continuous exposure and this thing will cause lot of damage. So the realization should come from the inside that they are harming the other people. See, if the marriage functions and all, the people who come, they are there for a short time, 1 day or 2 days they are there. But the hall itself, the management, they should realize that continuous sound is affecting the neighbors and other things. So they should realize and then do it on their own. For that, I think some counseling and education is required to tell them that this is the effect they are producing, which is harming the general population.
Yes, doctor, I can understand. For us, it was about 10 days of exposure to
Yes.
those blaring sounds of bands and microphones, which had a real impact on our health and sleeplessness. I can very well understand a marriage hall, a resident staying very close to a marriage hall, where weddings take place throughout the year. What would it, and no wedding goes on without a band and microphones blaring through the night.
Yeah.
God save them. So the safe limit, doctor, as you say, is about 80 decibels over a period of 8 hours. Anything above 80 decibels, the duration has to be much less. And if it goes beyond 90 decibel, it should be probably just a few minutes of exposure.
That's true.
I can understand how sensitive.
Yeah.
But my last question on this topic of sound pollution would be, what could, in your considered opinion, be the solution when I'm not a party to the sound.
Yes.
Say for instance, I had no choice but to take a beautiful flat next to a marriage hall, or I took a flat near a marriage hall and I realized that I took a flat and the marriage hall came much later.
Right.
So other than selling the flat and going elsewhere, that's the only option. So what do you think they considered? I'm sure government cannot solve this problem on its own.
Yeah.
And there have been efforts by the government, but there's an act which says that between 11 at night and 5 in the morning, any kind of construction activity or any devices or musical instruments cannot be played which disturb the peace and tranquility of the, even construction of all kinds is stopped in residential and other areas. But that apart, legislation has failed to achieve the result.
Hey, that law is there, but every time they do it, we have to complain to the department so that they come and stop the sound and everything. They ask them to shut this thing, but they don't do it.
They don't do it.
They don't do it.
Doctor, what has happened in the last few years, I have tried this myself. Soon after 11 o'clock, I called the local police station.
Yeah.
And the police has expressed, I mean, they help you, try to help you, they send their staff to stop it. But given the magnitude of the problem, they don't succeed.
Yes.
And they have their own pulls and pressures to reckon with. I think what I fully agree with you when you said that there should be some kind of an awareness on the part of the sound maker.
Yes.
That he has no right to disturb the tranquility of the neighborhood.
Correct.
For whatever commercial
See,
reason.
there is a pollution department which looks after all these things. I think they should be given more powers. They do it. They now and then, even in the hospital, they come and check the pollution and everything. They will see how we are disposing the waste material and all those things. They see. But for the other things, air pollution, sound pollution, they don't do much. So they should be given more powers to do that also.
Yes, doctor, I think there is a very good pollution control board and they have very qualified people.
Yes.
But I really don't know anything that they have done about sound pollution.
Sound.
Air pollution, they have at least installed meters in
Yes.
major traffic junctions.
Right.
And that is reported in the media from
Yeah,
time to time.
yeah.
But sound, I don't think I've read anything anywhere.
They're not doing anything for that.
No, not at all.
There is one more thing.
Yes.
What we can ourselves do.
I wish I
So for
could, yes.
that, I want to tell a few points. Okay, one thing is, if it's the sound is coming from inside your house, shut off the appliance or reduce the volume if the TV is on high sound, especially if few people are watching the TV and one of the person is deaf. So what he does is he will increase the volume.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah. So, so what you can do is ask him to sit near the TV, the others can sit little away.
You're right.
So that way, or he can be given special earphones so that the sound comes directly to his ear. So that way you can reduce the volume. Or you can shut the doors. That's easy to say, but difficult to do.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I know.
And then personally you can use earplugs. Those plastic ones
Yes.
or the sponge ones we come. That also helps. But the disadvantage is you can't hear the normal sound also.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can't speak to each other and this thing. That is the thing. But if very high sound is there, you can put and sleep. So that at least you will not be disturbed. As you said, the procession is going. You put the earplugs and you can go to sleep.
Let me tell you my experience, doctor. This year I couldn't do it, but the last 2 years what we were doing, and this came in the newspapers also, what we were doing is, we were leaving our house and going and staying elsewhere.
Right. That's another way.
I mean, we
Run away.
became so helpless.
Run away from your place.
Run away from it.
Yes. The other thing which reduces the sound pollution is trees, like indoor plants and this thing. They also help in reducing the sound pollution.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. So trees are also usually helpful. And then, as you said, community law should be there for use of loudspeakers, and then outdoor parties, rock music, public announcement also. You can see there's people, vehicles going with the loudspeaker on, announcing so many things. Nowadays, you see a new thing. The vegetable vendors, they're using microphone and then literally shouting in our lane. That also disturbs the whole thing. So that also should be controlled. I think that they're putting control on that also now. So somewhere I read it is going to come there. And then if you have got machines, like generators and all those things, you can make it soundproof. You can put a cover on that, make it soundproof, so that the sound level doesn't come out. Because every other house has got a generator.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the older units are, for instance, we have a very old unit. It makes it like horrible sound.
You can make it soundproof. Some people do it. They cover it up and then make it soundproof.